Welcome to the To All the Girls Success Club. Let's see if it's working on LinkedIn this morning. I think I have access now, so let's see if that works. My name is Lisa Dublin, and I am, just the founder of a lovely little club on Facebook called the To All the Girls Success Club. I'm here this morning with my guest from yesterday, Thecla Deterville. She's a professional. She does so many things in terms of soft skills. She'll tell us a bit more about her company and what she does. And we have been speaking since yesterday about conflict resolution, workplace relationships, and we have another awesome discussion this morning. Tekla, good morning. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Good morning, Lisa. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here again with us. So Brunetta says good morning. We're already letting the comments come in. So
Mhm.
you know what? It's really early in this part of the world, but the thing is that this world is really borderless, isn't it, Tekla? So it's 4 o'clock here, but it's like 11 o'clock in the UK. It
Mhm.
is 6 o'clock in the Caribbean, where we're both from, and this is what the world has become, as in you can reach people. I'm in my basement, you're in your office. You can reach people where you are with a message, just depending on what you have to offer, and that's what we're doing this morning. So
Yeah,
welcome.
absolutely, absolutely. The
Yeah,
World Wide Web has opened up the world to all of us,
it has, it
and it's
has.
something we have to capitalize on.
Yeah, I think so. So
Definitely.
wherever you're watching, you might be on Facebook, you might be on LinkedIn, you might be on Twitter, also on my YouTube channel, Basement Chronicles. Welcome, and let's start our discussion. We really wanted to start, Tekla. We were talking about a comment that came up yesterday that we didn't get to deal with. Okay,
Mhm.
so I want to pull that up now. Let's see if I can go to yesterday's comment. And this came from a member in the To All the Girls Success Club, and she was speaking about passive aggressive people. Let me just read the comment from Melanie. So, Melanie said yesterday, I call passive aggressive persons vicious because of the underlying subtlety in dealing with those persons and the perception created of them by other colleagues. Am I wrong to view them as such? That's the comment. What do you think?
For me, it's like I think one thing that I said yesterday is that we cannot change people. That's where we start off,
Mhm.
and so it's usually um not it's not what other people do, is how we respond or react to what's happening around us.
Yeah.
And so it's that what it is you have control over. And so the to be judgmental or to classify a particular behavior in a particular way gives us what we think is the right and the authority to react or to respond in a particular way.
Yeah.
So it's so in that instance you're literally giving up control of your ability to be open-minded, to look at it differently, to think a bit differently, and to
Mhm.
respond differently. So once you've come in with the intent that, hey, this person is vicious, um your behaviors towards that person, everything, your response, sorry, your reaction to something they've said or something they've done will be framed by that perception that you hold of
Yeah.
the individual. And so once you start from that premise, then you know there's always it's always going to be a situation of conflict,
Yeah,
because
because
there'll be no letting up. That's your mindset.
mhm.
And sometimes we don't know people's stories, and we don't take the time to listen. And people are who they are, but what we have to recognize is that the control lies with us, and
Yeah.
it's for us to decide what we want. And so
And
if
in
you go
deciding
if you go to
in
continue.
deciding in deciding what we want, it really is to not be judgmental. We want to try to be open-minded in any
Yeah, yeah,
interaction. Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I
You
wanted to go back to passive aggressive. What exactly is that in your opinion? And we both are out of the Caribbean right now, and you just encountered different peoples. I think people in the Caribbean do have a tendency to be very straightforward, if I may say so myself. And I had to
know, But you do get people who are passive aggressive. They give the impression that everything is okay. They always right and the other person is always wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my story and I'm sticking with it. And sometimes they also give you the impression, that they're the good people and the other people are the people that are not good.
People.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but behind the scenes, there may be their behavior, their reactions. They telling you something, and that comes
Yeah.
into they telling you something, but you can sense what they telling you is not what they really want to tell you.
Yeah. And there are many reasons why
So that's
people are
where
that way.
again that's where the intent and sometimes the maybe the tone of voice, maybe the body language comes into the conversation. And then so you take from it, you can take, it's an opportunity for you to take from it something else.
Yeah.
But again, it's if you maintain the control that hey, that is you, that is not me. I don't necessarily have I do not have to allow you to press my buttons. And but I will take back my control and I will have an open mind and I will approach this differently, even if you are trying to lead me into that particular direction.
Yeah. And it again it stems from let me first be open-minded. Oh, well, we're getting a bit of feedback this morning. I wonder how come.
Yeah, there's a bit of static somewhere.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Let's see if we can fix it. I'm not even sure what's happening. Yeah, there's a bit of feedback. Anyway, let's see if we can do this. I was saying that that sense of control, it really does come with keeping an open mind.
I'm,
You know,
I'm, I'm, I'm not hearing you. I'm clearly there with this.
yeah,
With
I'm
this
not sure what
static.
happened. Oh, there's so much feedback. I'm wondering why. I'm not sure why. Um, I'm gonna remove this mic. Let's see if that works. Sometimes these things happen. Oops, what do we do? Um, no, we're still getting a bit of feedback. You guys, how's it sounding? Let us know. Are you hearing us clearly or is there feedback? Is that just between Thecla and I? Or are you hearing some feedback? I really apologize for that this morning there. Yeah. We, okay, let's see if we can just get this wrapped up. I'm not sure where the feedback's coming from. Everything looks good on our end. Let me lower the volume here. Okay. Um, but let's see. Let's see what the comments say. I was just saying that part of being in control in any relationship is literally giving people the benefit of the doubt. And that's where the whole point of asking questions I find comes in. Okay, Sana is saying that she's getting some feedback. That's where that comes in terms of ask questions before jumping to conclusions and give people the chance to perhaps prove you wrong if that's one way of dealing with conflict and having proper um relationships. What do you think? Ooh, okay.
As you said that, it brings me to, Franklin Covey's, Steve Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Mm-hmm.
Habit 5, it says, seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't take and all of this comes into the whole question of interpersonal human relations, that we don't take time to understand the people. And even sometimes, even when we listen to people, um our our go-to, our normal habit would be that we listen to respond, but we don't listen to understand. And if we would just develop the habit of listening with the intention of understanding what exactly is being said, you know, that in itself would help with our own, the sort of perception, those preconceived notions that we have about people. And you've seen sometimes people have somebody speaking about somebody in a particular context, and that is not your experience of that individual. And you say, but what could have gone on? This is not the person I know. And because we have different perceptions for different reasons, maybe how we experience the person, maybe how the person was at the time, what were the issues. There's so many things that could have come into that, but that we paint that person with that brush. And sometimes if we just could just give that person a little time to hear to see them, to understand them, to know where they're coming from. It our perception of them would be different. We sometimes we just need to hear their stories,
Yeah.
what they're going through,
Mm-hmm.
and what, hey, this person looks like this person is hardcore, or this person is, we again, we just judge people, we give them labels, and we stick with that. We
Mm-hmm.
and so unless we have adopt the open mind kind of thing, you people prove to you who they are, but
Beautiful.
let them prove who they are
Yeah. And
before we
talking of
conclusion.
seeking to understand first, Thecla, this feedback is really on my side. I do apologize. We have to get comfortable with the silences, because if I'm listening to understand, there will be a slowing down of the conversations. And I find that many times people just simply want to rush in and keep the conversation going, and keep it going, but you're not really taking the time to understand people when you're like that, when you're in a rush. And I think, like, especially if you're having to have difficult conversations, at some point you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable silences in any interaction, and that's okay, because we really are seeking to understand each other, as opposed to just simply filling out a template for how we think conversations and relationships are supposed to go. I don't know how what you think of, like, just
Yes,
normal
yes. Yeah,
interactions.
I'm absolutely. But like I said, it's about being open minded, and it's about let's put aside the judgment. And the thing is, as human beings, is that possible? We all have our bias. We have perceptions. We see things one way or another. We come to the table with that, but it's something that is within our control, and something we can decide not to allow to get the better of us.
Hmm.
Be open-minded. Let the person, give people that opportunity to really prove who they are.
Yeah.
And not box people, or just put people into a corner, or put them into that slot. And then, but the thing with it is, when we do that, we deal with them in the way we perceive them, the way we see them. And once that is how you come in at them, it means that it's not me. That's who you are. So you deserve that kind of treatment, because that's who you are.
And forget
And so
our
if
own humanity. Yeah.
if it comes into the whole thing of forgiving. There's sometimes, yes, somebody may wrong you in one way or another. Do you have the capacity to forgive? Is sometimes you say you forgive, but you don't forget. But
Yeah.
again, how is that affecting your interaction with the individual, and whether you look at it on a professional or a personal level?
Hmm.
Sometimes we get to a space where maybe we just have to get some people out of our lives. It may come to that, but you can do it you know in a almost a harmonious manner, if you want to look at it, if you want to call it that.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
our values are not the same. I don't see eye to eye with you. I can move away, quietly, gradually, without having some blow up, an unnecessary blow up,
Exactly.
which, bad blood, raise my pressure, get me into a place that I don't want to be. So all of
Mhm.
these things are within your control. So there are ways that we can, when it comes to dealing with other human beings like ourselves,
Mhm.
there are different strategies that we can adopt.
Yes.
And it's not that you're just giving away your power to anybody. But again, you know who you are, and you know how you want to show up. You know.
Okay. There's something I wanted to talk about, going from knowing other people to knowing yourself. And over the years, okay, let me give you my little example about knowing yourself in a relationship, so that it dictates how you show up and how you react. Because I wake up very early, I am very cranky if I stay up past a certain time in the evening, right? I have discovered, try not to have any conversations of consequence after 8 or 9 o'clock at night, because then I'm very cranky. Then I might say things that I don't mean. And I just proved it just maybe last week. A friend reached out to me about 8:30 or 9, and I was on my way to bed. When I looked at the way that I responded the next day, Tekla, I was like, This is why, Lisa, you know not to have conversations late in the evening when you're tired, because you can be very cranky, very direct, very not yourself. Oh, maybe myself, but not the self I want to
And
show up.
control.
Yes, exactly. So, what's the place for knowing who you are in a relationship and approaching relationships from that self knowledge?
Yeah, but again, it takes me right back to the concept of emotional intelligence. It's
Mhm.
about knowing yourself, and understanding your emotions, recognizing them, and also knowing other people, the other people that you have to interact with. So then you can, because we speak about that self-awareness, that
Yeah,
you are aware, and your awareness makes you recognize, hey, you see, at that time, this is how I present. So, and this is not how I want to be, this is not who I want to be, and so that self-awareness is important. And so, but to be, again, the other part of it is to be able to communicate that,
yes,
to the other person, to say that, hey, and to be able, again, is that it takes us right back to the question of assertive language. How do we assert ourselves? Can I say to you that, hey, I really don't appreciate you calling me at this time. It's my worst time of day. I'm really cranky at this time. Could we take a rain check on this conversation? Let's speak in the morning, or let's speak tomorrow at so and so. Or do we just remain there, do something that we literally not happy with ourselves over, and then to have to go and, maybe mend a relationship that we could have dealt with differently had we been,
front.
assertive in terms of the quality of the conversation with that other party.
Yeah.
So
But
it's, it just cyclical, everything comes in, the communication, our ability to listen, our, ability, our level of self-awareness,
Mhm.
how we manage, how we, self-management, our ability to to exercise the controls that we need to exercise. And it's not that, it's not that it prevents you from being a free spirit, but what's your intent, what it is you want to achieve. Do the friendship is important, yes, but at the time, it's just that the timing is just wrong, and I should be able to tell you that, hey, the timing is wrong. That's not my best time. Let's defer that.
Yeah. Or, or sometimes people calling it crunch time in the morning when, I might be getting the kids ready. It's like, okay, do you know what time of the day it is? And but the thing is, they don't, especially because of time differences, and especially if
Yeah.
you're an immigrant, you have friends and family in different parts of the world who might not be cognizant of, hey, this is what somebody with young kids is doing at that time. So I feel like we need. You said, what is the intent? And the intent should always be to get along. The intent should always be to have a meaningful relationship. So we have to take those things into consideration. I'm gonna call you, but what might you be doing at this time? That kind of
I,
thing.
I remember some years ago, a friend of mine, I think I may have, I had this message or call her about, must have been about 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And she said, don't you know that you do not call a married lady at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning?
Yeah.
You
What
know,
did you say? How did that conversation
all I
go?
had to do was apologize profusely.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That is so, that is the easiness, the ease of a relationship when you can say
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it for
definitely,
sure.
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
again, we have to be respectful of each other's time,
Hmm. Yeah.
and each other's wishes. And so all of
Yeah.
this comes into relationships. And so if you notice the relationships that work, where there is mutual respect, that we respect each other as human beings, whether it's
Hmm.
as colleagues, or as partners or significant others, that mutual respect is really, really important in terms of, relationships.
Yeah. So the next, thank you for that. And that last point on respect. Sometimes we try to respect people we don't know, and think that because we're easy with our friends and our loved ones that there can be a level of disrespect, and it really shouldn't be. Like, we yesterday you said something so important about having a standard of how you treat people across the board. So it doesn't matter whether I just met you or whether I've known you for 20 years. I should be able to maintain, that same level of respect in our interactions. And I think that's pretty important. Tekla, the last thing I wanted to talk about was soft skills
Yeah,
as
yeah. The other
opposed
thing I want to say
to,
is that the other thing, respect is mutual.
yes, it
It's
is.
about, we respect each other, not that
Mm-hmm,
because of who you are, whether it's position or title or
mm-hmm,
whatever else, that you figure you're entitled to respect and I'm not. That again, that we have to draw that line. That you respect me as a human being, and I respect you as a human being as well. So if it it has to be mutual. And if you're talking about not being in a situation of conflict, I think that again is one of the factors that come into the picture, that the respect is mutual. Because once it's I'm supposed to respect you and you're not supposed to respect me, that in itself could really lead to some serious conflict.
mm-hmm.
Because if you just being disrespectful of the other person, but your expectation of them is that they show you respect. We have to take it as something that is mutual. It applies on both sides.
And if it doesn't, it's something that has to be dealt with, though. And that is where we have difficult conversations. That if you're not being respected in any relationship, far less a work relationship, that you would want to find some way to deal with it, to see what the root of the problem is, and to, in a way, not demand it, but it's how you demand it that you be respected as well, no matter what the power dynamic is. It's pretty
Do you have
important.
another device on or something?
I'm
That's
not, no, I don't.
no.
I'm not even sure why. I put on my headphones to
Mhm.
try to counter this feedback, but it doesn't seem to be working either. I'm not sure what's going on this morning. I have nothing else open as far as I know. I wonder if it could be that because I have LinkedIn open. Because this is the first time I've gone live on, I think it's live on LinkedIn. So that's the only thing that I'm thinking, where is this feedback coming on? But what we'll do, Tekla, let's end just very quick, just end on this note in terms of um, soft skills as opposed to somebody who's able to be competent at the job.
Mhm.
Pretty important fact, yeah? So Tessa says
Well,
that she called those conversations.
that's important because,
Hmm.
in fact, the saying is that your IQ gets you into the job, but your EI or your EQ, which would be your emotional intelligence, is what
Keeps you.
propels you through, what
Yeah,
sees you through, and what contributes to your success on the job. I
yeah.
mean, oftentimes you look at people say, "Hey, this girl, this person was brilliant, at school," and because the person may not have so those
Soft
soft
skills.
skills, and and you see they're in a yes, they may be very very efficient, they may be able to produce as individual contributors, but in terms of their ability to mesh with the team, particularly if they work in an environment where there are other people, that there has to be collaboration, they have to work, and they may have difficulty with that. And
Hmm.
leadership is really about, it's about inspiring people. It's about getting things done through people. It's not about, that I'm an individual contributor, I can do it and I can prove I can do it and I can do it all. That's not what it is, because the world of work is so complex, so dynamic, that all skills, all the qualities, the skills have to come together so that you can
Hmm.
get the outcome that you're looking for. And
Yeah.
so our ability to work alongside other people, to bring people together, to inspire people to want to achieve whatever the departmental goal is, that's important, because as an individual you cannot do it all, and if you try that, what you're looking for is complete burnout. And
Yeah.
when you burn out, you don't have any use to yourself or to anybody else. So
Correct.
we have to recognize the importance of the soft skills. And because again it is termed soft skills, people figure, well, hey, that's no big thing. And oh, you HR, you just do this, you just do that. But again, we have to see the development of the human capital. It's not just to say it. It's not that we say, oh, the human resources are our most important resource. What are you doing to develop that resource, to build it, to create the environment where that everybody can come in and give up their best every day? And
Very
this is what you want. And it is right. And that's why now you have the additional component in human resource development, where people talk about managing talent, because it's not just about I bring you in and I pay you a big salary. It's about I bring you in, but what is the environment that I'm bringing you into?
and
And
can you
what
fit
are
in?
what are the different components, that factor into developing that environment, which makes me, want to come in, want to give up my best day after day, day after day. And it's not
Okay.
only about the money or the package, but it's about that peace of mind, that environment, which is an enabling environment, an environment where I can continue to learn and grow. And so, and this is where the whole question of, it's not only about competence is important. Yes, you have to know what you're doing,
Mhm.
but you need to marry the competence with the soft skills, in terms of our ability to get on with each other, our ability to, to keep, to have a cohesive
Resolve
team.
conflict, for
Yes,
example.
to
Mm-hmm.
have a cohesive team. If conflict arises, that it can be resolved in a timely manner. That again, that the environment is one that facilitates the growth of, of the, because as people, we want to grow. I always say that where there is no growth, decay sets in. So we have to grow, and to even have that commitment to lifelong learning. Because like I tell people, if you had an MBA 10 years ago, if you did not sharpen that saw, if you did not keep yourself, current, you use literally useless.
But Thecla, let's just look at post
What is
pre-COVID and post-COVID. And MBA pre-COVID is
yes,
different from one in this post-COVID, getting their environment. Like you just literally have to keep on learning and keep on evolving with evolving times, or it really, it becomes obsolete. It really does.
yeah,
That
absolutely. So
that's the place of lifelong
it's
learning.
really, it's really important that we get those things right. So when we
Mm-hmm.
look at relationships, we talking, our ability to communicate, and that would include our ability to listen. Our When we look at things like our whole question of our emotional intelligence, how are we developing that? We are aware of ourselves. We have strategies to manage ourselves. We can use empathy. We can empathize with people. Our motivation is there. It's yes, motivation is intrinsic. But again, even for our colleagues and the people we lead, what are we doing in the environment to keep them motivated? It's not just we come and we shove people here and push them there and this and that. No,
Oh,
people have to get the feeling that they belong, that they contribute in. And it's the same things that propel us as individuals, propel them as well. People want to feel that they're making a meaningful contribution. And if we continue to sit on people's heads, that may not necessarily happen. So,
definitely.
creating that environment, but again, being, working on ourselves first, and,
Yeah.
working on ourselves and ensuring that, we have it right, that we develop those skills, that we, and that we continue to evolve, continue to grow, continue to sharpen the soul, like Steve Covey
Steve
say,
Covey said,
which is
yeah.
the final of the seven habits.
Okay.
And the quality of things that we read, even in terms of creating that mindset, the quality of the books that we read can
Actually,
really make
let's
a
before we even
difference.
go to the quality of books. I'm sorry my audio is terrible this morning, you guys. I apologize, and we don't have much more time, but I wanted to just make one comment on what you said about the place of soft skills even in, the field of competence. And I had to learn that moving from the Caribbean to settling into a job here in Canada. And I was relating to you the story of my supervisor. Very nice lady, first person I worked with here at the university. And she said to me, just having a conversation with me, I guess mentoring me, she said very quickly, we would prefer to hire somebody with soft skills than somebody who can really, really do the job. Because I was basing my own performance on competence and, to a certain extent, not really taking care of the soft skills of getting along in my unit. And it was creating problems. I don't know that it was all me, but I do know that, having been told that and having had a few key conversations with people, with like mentors in my life, one of the books that really helped me from that point forward was How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is what we're reading in the club to all the Girls Success Club on Facebook. If you're a girl and you want some kind of daily inspiration, please go to Facebook and join the club. But that book was instrumental for me, in just in terms of, hey, there's a way to deal with people to get along, that you don't put people's backs up, and that when there's conflict, there's a certain way that you show up and a way that you just manage relationships on a daily basis. And Lisa, you need to get with that. So I had to, really learn, like relearn, I think, certain things, to be able to be a pleasant person and to, kind of get along in the workplace. And I think a lot of us can benefit from that self introspection, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we
But
have to end here. I'm sorry that we have to do something. I have to do something about my audio because yours is clear and crisp as it should be, Tekla. So thank you for saving the day this
yesterday
morning.
was fine. Yesterday
It was
we
fine
didn't have that
yesterday,
issue.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the only thing I did different this morning was
yeah.
to enable LinkedIn. So I'm not sure if that might be the problem. I'll go investigate in the background and see what's happening. But you guys, thank you for being here. If unfortunately we might not have seen your comments because I'm going through Restream, but I do appreciate if you've commented under our conversation this morning, and we will try to get back to you and just kind of continue the conversation. But the audio is terrible, and I'm going to jump off now. And let me just say thank you, Tekla, for spending the last 2 days with us. This is what happens when we have conversations like this. That's Then you go off for the day, and you might be in a sticky situation at work or even in a relationship, and it makes you think because you've heard this kind of teaching, and it kind of prompts you to think in a different direction, maybe from what you're thinking about in the situation that you're in. So thank you for making us think this morning again.
Thanks, Nurse. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks, you go and have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow in the club, the To All the Girls Success Club on Facebook. Bye.
Okay.
See you
Bye.
guys.